There are many fads and hot topics that come in and out of science, and staying focused still on the areas of strength and the areas of the mission is the most important piece. Being aware that AI and machine learning and some of these new areas are out there, and making sure that we're including that while we look to evolve AI. Let's also not lose track of the fact that the work that we're doing in the laboratories, in the clinics, to advance our understanding of disease processes still requires a basic knowledge and a basic ground truth. So if you don't have that ground truth, then you can't train the machine and the AI to advance the field. So we do have to advance and integrate our AI, and at the same time, we have to improve our understanding of what is improved care, what is ground truth, what are we defining as this success, and that really comes out of basic and translational and clinical laboratories, not just AI machine learning laboratories. I've been extremely grateful to be part of this advisory committee, and I think everyone brings such a unique background and perspective. I was incredibly honored to be chosen, and I think what I hope I've been able to bring in my role is really the kind of full continuum. And I see that as patient, physician, researcher. The idea of helping burn and trauma patients is very near and dear to who I am. I was a burn survivor as a child, had surgery, and then went and worked in the laboratory of the surgeon who took care of me. So I saw very early on the ability to see a clinical problem, take it to the lab, and then improve upon the treatments that we're offering to our patients. When someone comes into the hospital initially with their trauma and burn, we take care of that. As a reconstructive and plastic surgeon, there's also the rest of their journey. Most of the people that are impacted are young people, which means if it's a 20-year-old that's in a trauma, it's the next 50 to 70 years that they're dealing with the consequences of that trauma or burn. We help them on that journey to reconstruct and help their scars and their healing. As a surgeon, I'm able to see that continuum of care and bring that when we're having discussions in our advisory board. And then as a scientist, I run a 12-person laboratory that has been focused on how to improve the treatments that we give to burn patients and trauma patients now for almost 15 years. We do work from very basic, like identifying new pathways that have not been discovered, that then we can translate into animal models and then translate into human studies. I think that hopefully what I'm able to bring is someone who has seen that full continuum as a patient, that's able to care for patients along their full continuum, and then as a researcher to be able to identify the challenges that they're facing really at all stages of their journey to recovery. What TRC4, and if you think of even the people who are engaged in both advisory board and beyond, it is people who have been in different phases. When I think of a patient that needs something, it requires the caregivers, it requires the researchers, it requires then pharma, the patient advocacy groups, like all those teams have to come together for a patient to have a successful recovery. What is really great about TRC4 is that it started with a large number of those teams, right, of people who have been on that patient journey. We have people who are clinicians, people who are scientists. Now also leveraging the patient advocacy groups, that is really helpful because they get engagement, and then those people can help inform what should we be focusing on. Once we do have a lot of these discoveries and new ideas, it still requires partnership with industry to take it to the next step for FDA approval, implementation. Having those connections with industry and pharma will help then that final step of getting it into the clinics. And what I liked about the TRC4 meeting is it brings all those groups together. We had people from industry, we had people from government, we had advocacy groups, we have clinicians, we have scientists, we have patients. Those are all the people that need to be in the room, and I think continuing to foster those with TRC4 will allow us to continue to have a positive impact. The most exciting things are the kind of basic discoveries, and then there are the things that now we made basic discoveries and we're bringing it into the patients. TRC4 was generous to invest in one of the devices that can assess whether a burn or any injured tissue is alive or dead. And that's super important when you look at most of the data out there of an experienced burn clinician, they're only correct about 60% of the time. So that means that almost half the time we get it wrong. The severity is so important because it does two things. One, it helps guide us early on how much fluid a patient needs to get them through to survive the first 24 hours. It also helps us decide whether or not the patient needs surgery. So TRC4 is teamed up, and we've built a device that actually can assess whether the burn tissue is alive or dead, whether that patient needs acute fluid management or not, whether they need surgery or not. We validated it initially at one center. Now we've validated in 3 civilian centers in Texas, as well as a military center, and shown that this device can indeed predict whether a burn patient needs that operative intervention, needs specific precision medicine care for their burn injury. And so that's something that I think only could have been leveraged here with TRC4 in the state of Texas, because there are no other states that have as many large volume, high acuity burn centers in the country, as well as a military burn center. I think that Texas is really the epicenter of trauma and burn research. Texas has a large number of trauma centers and burn centers, and they have a history and track record, thanks to people like Ronnie Stewart, of integration of those centers. So it's not that we're operating independently as all these different burn and trauma centers, but we have been collaborating, comparing outcomes, advancing the field together. And now this TRC4 really further supports that connection. Now we are not only meeting, collaborating, talking, we're also taking those best ideas that come from those groups and being able to leverage funding support to actually further investigate those findings. If any person were to think, if they know someone or themselves who have been afflicted by some trauma or burn injury, it is immense. We put a lot of focus and attention when you look at where national institutes are putting their funding on cancer, diabetes, and heart disease. Each of those costs about $300 billion a year for the US government. Trauma costs on average over $4 trillion. What that means is that it is an area that is even more problematic than diabetes, heart disease, cancer combined. It's not something that federally is really funded because there isn't anything around that for trauma. The taxpayers in the state of Texas, what they're doing is they're investing in this huge clinical need, which is disproportionately, affecting especially our younger people. By them investing in this disease process that is trauma, they're helping research advance in a way that it's not advancing anywhere else in the country or the world. I would express, gratitude to the state of Texas, to legislators, to the individuals on the advisory board, all the people at the institutions who have submitted proposals, have been working hard to advance science in this area. It really is a team effort. This has been such a game changer when it comes to how we address the challenges faced by our trauma and burn patients. The impact will continue to have a positive effect for years to come.